D.Va.
Hello everyone, my name is Rage, and welcome, one and all, to the next Overwatch 1 and Done discussion. Today, I believe that it is high time we talked about the PTR notes and the, quite honestly, ridiculous changes to some of the heroes. There's a lot going on, and I think a lot of it might change quite a few things, so I'm excited to talk about it. Today, my objective is to die the least amount of times on each hero I'm going to talk about, so make your prediction as to who it's going to be. I will try. So without further ado, let's begin. But first, some further ado. I'm not going to talk about the ultimate's been increased by 25% because I basically dedicated an entire video that positing just how ultimates affect the game and having a little bit of a theory session on how it would play without them, which can be totally found linked in the description if you're interested in that at all. I hear it's a pretty good video, you know, just saying. But I do like that you can no longer get charged from Torb's turrets and Symmetra's teleport. The teleport are not a big deal, but Torb's turrets very much give a lot of charge to people when the enemy Torb is a little bit stupid and goes, "Huh, my turret got destroyed. I'll place another one right where it died. Oh, my turret got destroyed." And that cycle continues, just giving enemy ult charge. And granted, that's the Torb's fault for being terrible, but it happens a lot, and it doesn't feel great from the perspective of the Torb. So, you know, it's whatever. So, moving on to D.Va, who is my second main character, previously main until my love for that sweet, sexy Roadhog overtook her. She is getting an extra 100 health in just pure health, but it does take her to a bulky 600 in her mech, and this is good, because D.Va's problem as a tank was always that she was too squishy. This was helped a lot when she could toggle on and off her defense matrix. It really let her have a lot more agency and actually usable as a frontline tank and really feel threatening as a tank. But that didn't really help her ulterior role as a, air quotes, flanker tank. And this extra 100 health does that because she has a major flaw in that her critical hitbox is bigger than the delusional ego of a bronze player who can't rank up because his teammates suck. And it just gets her melted. So with the extra 100 health, it's just nice. It'll just help. There's really not much else to it. But the biggest change with her is the increased movement speed while firing. It feels like you were permanently ana boosted in speed. It's so much better. Not only is this a great change because it gives the D.Va player more fun, because being a turtle is not fun. Sorry, turtles, but you're just boring. And you actually feel like you can properly fly around the map, sneak up on someone, and actually follow them and shoot them down. Because I don't see a lot of people really abusing that aspect of D.Va. You can legitimately, and I say this all the time to my friends when I play her, and you know, we got to fairly high ranks. It's not like I was just cheesing bad people with this. I really like to say she plays like a 600 health tracer. Try playing her with that mentality, and I think you'll have some pretty neat results. Yeah, it's not completely the norm, at least not from my experience, but she does work very well as a bulky flanker, sneaking around with her jets and actually doing some work, and also covering the retreat and attack of supplementary flankers. If the D.Va and a Genji/Tracer go around the left at the start of Volskaya, they can do some real damage together and then cover each other's retreat, and I think that's really cool. She works well for a split your team into two groups, one go round the back, the other attack the front type tactic, and that's something I really enjoy about her. She really has those multiple roles, because she can frontline as well because of her toggle, but she does have that option, and honestly, that's one of my favorite things about the design of Overwatch characters. All of the tanks, especially, are very cool in their own way because they have their own major strength that they fit into. For a little bit of a tangent, because you know I can't resist, Reinhardt, obviously the front line. Dude between you and the enemy, taking hits and punishing people who come too close. Simple. Roadhog, the key target picker, the area denial, the least tank-like of the tanks, but the highest raw damage output, and in the right hands can really shut someone down. He feels more like a bulky assault than a tank.
It's hard to be this famous, guys. I mean, really, it's a wonder I don't let it go to my head.
Nah, it's always lovely when this happens. It's really surreal because I'm just a massive nerd playing video games. It's like nothing, you know, Good times, good times. Winston is there as a disruptor tank, jumping on key targets, AoEing down Symmetra turrets, putting his shield bubble in annoying places, and then of course disrupting the enemy's positions with his ult and really getting them off points, you know. He just messes with the enemy's formation. And then Zarya is the support tank. She saves people with her bubbles. You know those people that think they're amazing as assault because they can hit, you know, fairly good shots with their aim, but have the awareness of a mole in a swimming pool? They are the perfect people to be picking Zarya with, because every time you have a shield, you can basically cover their weakness and let them actually do alright for your team, and it's one of the best ways to carry when you get those kinds of players on your team, and that's one of the things that Zarya really shines and why she is such a popular, annoying pick. And obviously all five can do a little bit of crossover with each other's niche, but they very much do shine in their own strengths, and I just love the diversity in the tanks. I could do a whole one and done discussion about them. But either way, focusing on patch notes here, we got Soldiers getting a little bit more damage and a little bit more bullet spread. This is fine. Encouraging is a high burst damage, burst spray potential, making him more of a threat again at medium range, actually making him somewhat pickable over McCree's ridiculous gun because of the extra utility he brings. It's just good. Soldier does need a reason to be picked more, so that's fine. I have to say, on characters that require a decent amount of aim, I am so out of practice. I cannot wait to get back to actually playing and focusing and doing the next rank season. Anna. Nano boost, no longer movement speed. This sucks so much. Obviously, it sucks because we can't do shenanigans involving massively speeding someone, but it also takes away one of the cool aspects. Going really fast is something people love to do, and it was a great move for it. I agree with this change, let me just say, because Nano boosting a key target and watching them go to work was way too prevalent and way too what teams were focusing on at a high level, and it was just kind of fundamentally predictable, and this should encourage some switch up to strategies that we see. But it does kind of suck from a fun perspective. Honestly, what I would have done is massively nerf the damage output and the damage reduction and actually buff the speed. This way you make the person with it, they're still a threat because they're moving lightning fast, can get through you, get to a support, get a kill and get out, so you make it more of a targeted, here I'm boosting you, go kill Mercy type ability, but it also doubles up as utility of, oh, I've died with the tank and we're both spawning, I'm gonna nano boost the tank just so he can get back to the battlefield really quick and have a supersonic Reinhardt reach the point quicker because you can use the boost on that. It makes it more of a multifaceted ability, because the thing is, you can't just give the damage a removal and keep the other two, because then it makes him not really a threat, the dude that's nano boosted. You're just kind of annoying. It'd be like having a wasp buzzing around you, so what? And then you can't remove the damage reduction because then whoever gets it will just get melted. So it does need both a damage up and damage reduction to be useful, but I think the balance of the numbers could be changed to keep the speed and still make it both a fun, weaker, but more utility filled ability. But I don't know, I just think it's a shame to see that gone. Mei, her ulti cost has gone up by another 15% on top of the global 25, which is fine. It's an annoying as fuck ulti. Like, seriously. I swear to God, if I hear freeze don't move one more time, I am going to hit a puppy with a kitten. I hate being frozen, and the fact that it's nearly the size of a plate now, it's just too strong. It really is for what it does. So seeing it less often is just a good thing. Maybe it will bring her more in line, because she is a... How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. Very strong. Lucio losing some healing per second is absolutely fine, because the thing is, you bring Lucio because he has the ult and the speed buff. He has a lot of stuff he brings to the team, so his actual raw healing output should be a lot lower to compensate. He's way too ubiquitous as just the support that we pick, and I will hope that this encourages, along with Mercy's other change, a bit more Mercy play, because Mercy does suffer from some problems that we'll talk about when we get to her change. But I'm all in favor of making Lucio weaker, if only to encourage us actually seeing other supports. That would be great. Zarya gaining less power from barriers. It's fine. She does gain a lot, and she does do a lot of damage very quickly as a tank. It just brings her overall DPS back down and makes her more in line with what she's supposed to be, which is the savior of people and all around irritating. How does she always have barrier off cooldown whenever I go to hook that dude? You know, that's what Zarya should be making you say. She shouldn't be making you say, oh, she beat me to death in 3 seconds because she got full charge from one barrier. Cool. You know, that's something that I like. It just brings her in line with what she's supposed to be. Torbjorn, then getting scrap over time is just fantastic, because it means when you're sat there waiting for things to happen, like when you give up the first point and set up on the second point, you get a bit of scrap, you can get some preemptive armor going. At the start of the game, you can get some preemptive armor. It just kicks his utility up majorly to be able to constantly churn out packs without having to run over and get scrap, and lets him be more of a nest character in that he can sit somewhere and just be useful. You still don't want to babysit your turret, because that's definitely not the most effective way to play. You want to put it in a nice, good, sneaky position and then move somewhere else and use your gun, because God's sake, Torbjorn, your gun is amazing. That shotgun damage is higher than bloody Reapers. You are so effective with your gun. Your turret is just supplementary, honestly. So this way you can just be more useful to your team, and that's really no bad thing. And then he gets faster hammer speed. This is good because he can set up his turret faster, and getting the turret to level 2 as quickly as possible is really something you need to happen as Torbjorn. The damage gone down to compensate, so you don't see an army of hammer dwarves everywhere, which is, of course, you know, a good thing. Although is it a good thing? I would kind of love an Overwatch where the meta was add a boost to Torbjorn and have him ult and use his hammer on everyone. I kind of want to do that as a shenanigans, actually. I file that one away real quick. Just type that down. That's cool. Alright. I like it. But yeah, Torbjorn is hardly ever picked. Like seriously, he's only picked more than Symmetra. That's how bad he is, at least statistically. You might do well on Torbjorn, that's fine. Good for you, repping that awesome dwarf. Sorry, Swedish person. But in competitive matches, in pro matches, he's not great. So giving him the ability to shield more often and give that amazing armor buff might really be what he needs to actually be useful. I still feel like he won't be picked that much just because other people can do a lot better, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. So the next set of changes, we got D.Va's out of suit ability to call her mech back in has been decreased, just to put it back to what it was before the global ult charge rate nerf, so that's fine. She should be able to get in really quickly because you are obviously very killable despite your DPS. Widow can no longer get hurt by her own mine. This is good, honestly, because a lot of people really can't get hurt by their own stuff, especially now that D.Va doesn't die to her own mini nuke, so that's just fantastic. It's not a crazy thing, it's not going to change how she's played, but it's a nice quality of life change for Widowmaker, because the thing is, Widowmaker herself would totally go to lengths to be immune to her own poison. Like, lore-wise, that just makes sense. And then her actual charge rate on her scope shots is increased, and this is good, because again, Widowmaker not picked very often. There's just no real reason to have her over some other characters, so if we make her more deadly, more rapid in her sniping, we might see some improvements, because honestly, it does feel a lot faster. Whether it's enough to make her viable again, I don't know, because honestly, if you have someone with the aim required to be a really good Widowmaker, you really want them just to be playing McCree and they'll get more output, so we really need to see how she plays with this. I think she still might need to be a little bit stronger, but I also think fundamentally, Widowmaker is one of those characters that is either OP or too weak. It's really hard to balance someone who can go around and chain headshot, because either that is too strong or it just doesn't happen and she's kind of useless. Snipers are very finicky to make feel fun and fair for both teams. Honestly, I'd quite like to see a version of her where once you scope in and fully charge, you can just keep firing until you descope or have to reload. Obviously bring a lot less damage than that, only one-shot headshotting the 150 health characters, but I do like the idea of a scoped in rapid fire sniper, like you start getting shot and it's just boom, 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 boom as you have to run away, and it actually makes her a much more high priority threatening target if she's there chain sniping your tanks down. Yeah, it might be a little bit too strong, but ultimately, I think they do need to try a new direction with her, and I do kind of like seeing her as a rapid-fire, almost suppression-fire sniper that really fucks you up if you stay in the open for too long, and not really be in a situation where, oh, Widow missed, cool, I've got time for a casual stroll around the park while she gets her next shot ready, you know? Alright, next up we got Pharah, who's got a little bit of extra damage from her rockets, which is really cool. You take more damage if you're caught in the blast, which is nice because it means you need to be less deadly accurate with them, and a lot of people do struggle with that on Pharah, because hitting your rockets is so damaging with her. They're so painful, so it just makes her a little bit forgiving, which obviously makes her a lot stronger. And then the actual knockback on them has been reduced massively. This is actually a huge buff for her, because it means you don't have to really readjust your aim that much, because they're not going to get sent random places when they take a rocket explosion, so you can just kind of keep chain firing at them. It's not huge, but it's just nice. It's a quality of life change for her, which, considering the one that just happened, which is amazing, i.e. she gets extra lift from her hover jets, which means with careful usage, Pharah can now permanently fly by herself. Way to ruin my maximum airtime, Blizzard. Really appreciate that. Honestly, I do. And it just makes the character feel so much better. It doesn't really make her stronger per se, because her being in the air permanently just means that she's now a permanent really slow moving target for long range hit scan weapons, but that's another problem. She's still definitely too easy to kill, but at least now she can fulfill the fantasy of what her character is supposed to be, which is an aerial tracer. Tracer is always at the back, annoying people, shooting people, picking off targets and being irritating. Imagine if every 10 seconds Tracer got forcibly teleported back to the side of the map and had to start again. That's what it feels like when you're in the air, being annoying Pharah, aerial, raining rockets from above, and then, oh cool, I'm out, gotta land for a bit and wait to play my character again and go back up. And yeah, you can do stuff from the ground, but really, I think people want, and what Pharah is supposed to be, is someone who is just permanently above you, raining death until you choose to deal with her, because it makes sense. She's got a flight suit and a jetpack. She should be in the air all the time. She should be the annoying one in the air, constantly above your team, making your life hell until you get someone to switch to a counter to shoot her down and then force her to change, and it just encourages more hero swapping and counterplay, which I do actually really like. So yeah, it lets her be the aerial annoyance that she was always meant to be by constantly being up there. I think it's a very nice buff to the character, mainly in just the sheer extra fun it will give players who are playing her, because flying is fun, you know? It's just a lot of enjoyment to be up there rocketing the hell out of everyone. And then finally, we have the Mercy buff, and this means that her passive health regen kicks in after just a second of not taking damage, and it used to be 3. This is huge. This makes Mercy what I think Mercy needs to be. The support with the highest healing output, and the support that's the hardest to kill, but with the least damage output and least utility. Now granted, obviously the res is a lot of utility, but it is her role and she doesn't have it often, and getting a good res is honestly quite difficult for a lot of players, it seems, so that's not a huge deal. And yes, her pistol does okay damage, but again, that means you're not doing your main role if you're playing your some straight sick battle Mercy. And yeah, Anna's straight healing output when she's just spam firing at someone is greater, as it should be, but she has downtime. Mercy should be that reliable, constant healing, flickering back and forth between people, staying out of harm's way with clever positioning and letting her passive kick in. I think this is a huge deal for her. I don't think it's quite enough to see her picked over Anna and Lucio and Zenyatta, but at the same time, I think it's on the right track. I think she does need to be the reliable, always there healing output character. That will be her niche. Like I talked about with the tanks, I think that's what Mercy really needs to strive towards. And then you pick her where all you need her to do is be there and heal. You don't need her to help in any other way, because you know her actual healing and being there-ness is just so ridiculously good compared to the other characters that you can afford to not have her helping kill the enemy or providing utility, because the other 5 are doing that enough. I think that's what it needs to be, because so far, no matter how much her res is good and heal is good, it just doesn't justify picking a Mercy when you can get the sound barrier, the speed boost, the nano boost, the sleep, the canister, the Discord orb, the invulnerability. You know, the other supports just have so many more impactful abilities over just healing, which is really Mercy's thing. So honestly, I bet you could double the healing on Mercy's beam, and at best she would have an equal pick rate with the other supports. That's how much of a discrepancy not having usable utility is. I would love Mercy to have a extra move. I think she could handle it. She doesn't feel like she has a lot to manage when you play her. She's fairly simple, at least to grasp. Yeah, there's a lot of high skill to go into Mercy, but I think players could handle an extra ability on her, and I would love her to have some spot utility to apply. The best one that I can think of is honestly choose someone and give them a buff that means when somebody shoots them, they damage themselves an equal amount. I think that would be a really cool thematic ability to give Mercy, because in order to not take damage, you'd have to show your opponent mercy. I don't know, I think that would be really cool for her. But yeah, there you go guys, a rundown of my initial first thoughts of the patch notes and how I feel about them, and I hope you enjoyed this next one and none discussion. You know, every now and then I like to have some serious talk about the game, because I do like to play it, as you know, you might find shocking. But yeah, there we go. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Oh, goodbye.